If you want to actually improve your golf game, but you hate boring practice, this video is for you. For each aspect of your game, I'm going to be covering 2 addicting golf training drills that actually make you better. And this approach is the exact approach I use to go from a 19.3 handicap all the way down to a 10.0 handicap. And if it works for me, it's going to work for you. All right, every time you get to the range, you need to have AirPods, you need to have music, and you need to have music that has a consistent tempo. This chart right here shows you how many beats per minute music you should be listening to based on the tempo of your swing. Now my swing's a 24/8 swing, so I like 110 beats per minute. If you don't know your tempo or your BPM, just try around with these different beats per minute until something feels right, and then just stick to that same beats per minute playlist every time you're practicing on the range. So if you've ever wondered how to match your golf swing with the perfect tempo, just try playing around with these 4 different tempo playlists until one fits your swing. All right, let's jump into our 10 games. The first one is the driver face control game. So for this game, what we want to do is we're going to hit 10 balls and we're going to alternate, making sure the ball starts left of that ball and then right, and then left and then right. So the way we close that club face is just by rotating your lead wrist. So if you loosen the screw, that's going to close the club face. If you don't loosen the screw, that's going to leave your club face open. So let's try a couple here. We're going to start on the right side. So we're aiming at that ball, but we want to make sure we start right of that ball. So that started right. Let's try to start left now. And that's going to give you really good feeling of controlling that club face, so you can pay attention to what it feels like at impact, to go right, to go left, to go straight. Club face control is one of the most important things you can master. So this drill is key in keeping your drives in play. The very first thing you're going to see in the video description here is a link to the scratch scorecard. It's going to allow you to track your scores on each of the drills we're going over today, so you can make sure you're progressing in the right direction. That's a free download for you. Just click on the link and it'll take you to the download page. All right, on to drill number 2 for the driver, which is the shot shaping drill. Very similar drill. We're hitting 10 balls again, and we're gonna, instead of alternate left start, right start, we're alternating draw, fade, draw, fade. Now what controls your draw or your fade is your club path relative to your club face. So if you've figured out how to keep that club face square at impact, which means that ball's starting relatively straight every time, then in order to hit a fade, you need to come out to in relative to that square face. And to hit a draw, you need to come in to out, again, relative to that square face. That's how you should be coming through the ball. If you're leaving the club face open and you go in to out, that's not gonna draw. That's gonna go straight push, okay? If you're closing the club face and you come out to in, that's not gonna fade. That's gonna be a straight pull. So you gotta keep that club face square. Then you got to come out to in for the fade and in to out for the draw. We're going to alternate again. So we're going to go fade, draw, fade, draw. If I miss a draw, I'm going to keep trying draws until I hit a draw, but I'm only hitting 10 balls total, so I can keep an accurate score of how many I was able to do successfully. Let's give it a shot. Very nice fade. Now we're going to switch into a draw. So again, we got the square club face, and I'm focused on taking my club path in to out. If you struggle getting in to out, one thing you can do is imagine there's a tee, a ball, or just literally put one there behind your ball. So if I don't want my driver to touch that, I need to come in to out, or else I'm going to hit that ball. There we go. It's going to help you a lot. If you're struggling with the shot shaping drill, go back to the face control drill. That's way more important. Making sure you can keep that club face square at impact. The shaping builds off of that. Again, your club path is relative to your club face. An out to in with a square face is much different than an out to in with a closed face. In to out with a square face is much different than in to out with an open face. That does it for driver. Let's tap into irons. All right, so before I do my iron drills or my wedge drills, I like to do a bunch of one-arm swings to loosen up and to get the right feelings. Helps me kind of fix my early extension habits that I have. Now we can jump into iron game number 1. Now iron drill number one, I like to call the go horizontal game. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna say my green is between that tall tree and the black flag here. So anything I hit between those that's compressed is gonna count as a green in regulation. The stipulation, I can't go way up here in my backswing. I'm only allowed to go horizontal. Just helps you get in the right positions and you're more likely to get good compression on that ball. Now you're likely gonna think you're going horizontal and be going bigger. So you really gotta tone it down and just do a really small backswing. So this drill is perfect for focusing on your lag and your tempo. And the point system is the same. We're gonna hit 10 balls. Any ball that's compressed and goes between that black flag and the big tree, I get 1 point. If it's not, I don't get a point. I'm hitting 10 balls like this, and then I'm logging my score in the scratch scorecard. Again, you can get that in the link in the description. And we're moving on. Okay, keep your score out of 10 and move on to drill number 2. Okay, this next drill is very similar. You're gonna take your 7-iron, and it's just called the streaks drill. We wanna keep our club face square, and we wanna keep our club path square through the face. Again, we're gonna pick a green on the range, and all we're trying to do here is see how big of a streak we can get. So, say I got 3 in a row, and then I missed it. I'm starting over at 0, I go again. You can do this as long as you want. You're just trying to get as big of a streak as you can, and then you're gonna log it in your scratch plan scorecard, which again is right here in the description of the video. And that's a miss, right? So that would be the end of the streak. And I'd either log that or start over. All right, that's it for irons. Let's move on to partial wedges. With these 3 clubs, I only need 3 different swings, and I can hit any 10-yard increment from 50 yards to 130 yards. So if I'm going 50, 60, 70, that's a half swing. 80, 90, 100 is a 3/4 swing. 110, 120, 130 is a full swing. All I'm doing is changing the wedge on these. Half swing, my lead wrist is about at my waist. 3/4 swing, my lead wrist is almost horizontal. And a full swing, my lead arm is just above horizontal. Those are my 3 swings for my wedges. They give me any distance from 50 yards all the way up to 130 yards. This one's not a game, it's just a drill I want you to do every time you go to the range. You're gonna start feeling so much confidence with your wedges, but you're just gonna hit 9 balls. You're gonna try to hit the first one 50, second one 60, 70, 80, using this matrix that we just put up here. Try to hit each of those distances with your 9 balls. And then forget about it. Just do that every time you go to the range, and you're gonna start hitting a lot more birdies and saving a lot more pars. So let's just do a couple examples here. 50 yards first. I've improved a ton with my wedges by following that matrix. Just do it. Every range session, start out with 9 balls, just like that. You're gonna see fast improvements in your game, I promise you that. Now, if you're looking for a customized list of drills and practice catered to your needs, so it's gonna take into account how many hours a week you have available, it's gonna take into account what your strengths and weaknesses are, check out thescratchplan.com/yourscratchplan. We build customized plans. It's the same system I followed to take me down from a 19.3 to a 10. And if it's helped me that much, you can bet it'll help you too. All right, that's it for the first wedge drill. Let's move on to the second wedge drill. We're gonna pick a target 20 yards away, and we're just trying to carry the ball into that target as many times as we can out of 20 shots. You can use a bucket, you can use a hula hoop. It doesn't matter what you're using, it just has to be consistent. If you want a little confidence boost, a hula hoop's gonna be better because it's a bigger target. I'm just gonna make a triangle with 3 clubs. All right, and I'm trying to carry 20 balls that land directly in that circle. All right, just like that. You're gonna hit 20 balls, track how many land in the circle, and then make sure your scores are progressing as you keep doing this game. That's it for partial wedges. Let's go chip. All right, this is my very favorite practice drill. It's called 18 holes up and down. All you need is your favorite chipping club and your putter. You're gonna play 18 holes. Every hole is a par 2. Keep track of your total score. Try to improve. There's a link to your scratch scorecard in the description. Click on that link, download the score sheet, and you can track your progress with this drill. That's hole 1. That's a bogey. You're gonna save so many pars by doing this drill. All right, our second chipping game is called the ladder drill. So we're gonna take a target 10 yards and a target 20 yards, see how many balls we can get between the two targets. So our first chip, you gotta make sure it goes past the 10-yard target and stops as close to it as possible. Next one has to go past the previous ball, next one past the previous. You're gonna see how many balls you can fit in that gap before you go over 20 yards or under your previous ball. So again, keep going until you leave one short of your last ball or along that 20-yard target. You're gonna get really good at controlling that chipping distance. That's it for chipping. Let's go to putting. All right, this next one is the drawback drill with the putter, and it is fun, but it is infuriating, and it is gonna make you really good at getting two putts every single time. We're gonna choose 18 holes, and we're gonna just choose different distances to putt. Anywhere between 10 feet and 40 feet is great. The catch is when you miss a putt, you have to move the ball, wherever it stops, point your putter away from the hole, and you're gonna pull the ball back one putter length. You're gonna keep track of your score. Par is 36. Document it in your scratch scorecard, see how low you can go. Let's give it a shot. All right, so we missed the putt. So we lay our putter away from the hole, move the ball back as our second putt. So the reason I like that drill is it helps you focus really hard on first being pretty precise on your distance with your lag putts so that you can make the second putt easier, and second, really locking in on those 4 to 8 foot putts. If you can improve on that distance, you're gonna see a huge fast improvement in your scores, and that drawback drill accomplishes that. Okay, we got one more. If you do this drill, you are almost never gonna 3-putt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a 3-foot circle around the hole with a couple of tees so we know our proximity of 3 feet. Then we're gonna go to a 50-foot putt. We're gonna hit 2 balls from 50 feet, and we're gonna track how many are going within that 3-foot circle. After we hit the 2 balls, we move to a new location, still 50 feet from the hole, repeat. Once you've done 5 different locations, so 10 putts total, open up that scorecard, keep track, let's give it a shot. Oof, slipped away. All right, so we're 1 for 2. Now we're gonna choose a new spot and do it again. If you want to, you can practice cleanup on these, but it's not part of the scorecard. Get right. Oh, that broke a left. Interesting. And that one broke right. What a tough read. You can see it's not an easy drill to keep that in 3 feet, but it's gonna absolutely eliminate your 3 putts. If you've got some fun games or drills that work for you to make practice more fun, leave those in the comments. I'm always looking for more to add to my collection. And if you want a customized plan that's catered to your weaknesses, to your strength, that's built around how much time available you have to practice every week, check out this link right here. There's also a link in the description. We build you a custom plan based on the hours per week you can practice, based on what you want to focus that practice on, so that you can improve the weakest link and get better faster. Scratchplan.com/your-scratch-plan. Means a lot to me that you guys are joining me on my channel, on my journey to scratch. If you're trying to get to scratch too, leave a comment. Let me know where you started, where you're at. I want to know your progress. I want to know what's working for you. Let's work together and get all our handicaps down as fast as we can. We'll see you next time.